So ever since Ruben Amorim was appointed as manager of Manchester United, one thing has been very, very obvious. We're going to need some wingbacks. And finally, we are close to a transfer window and an opportunity to actually bring some players in. And I think realistically, the focus has to be on the left side of the fence. Tyrell Malacia is still kind of coming back from those fitness issues. Luke Shaw is never really available. And outside of that, we don't have any left-footed players that can play on the left-hand side, apart from some academy players who probably aren't ready quite yet. So of course, in today's video, we are going to be looking at some left wing-back options that Manchester United could sign perhaps in January or in the summer. Before we get into that, if you guys could quickly subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And then we'll get into the video. So first things first, why do we actually need a left wing back? And in particular, why do we need a left-footed player on this side of the pitch? Well, to be honest, it's to try and help us exploit spaces like this. You can see this is a massive gap out on the left-hand side of the pitch, and eventually we are going to move the ball in this direction from Onana out to Diogo Dalot. The problem is, as Dalot takes his first touch, he actually controls it with his left foot. But the important thing is here where he controls the ball. He controls the ball inside the pitch because his player nature and his instinct is always, if possible, to come back inside onto his right foot. He's a right-footed player. He's always played in that way. It is only natural to him. Whereas a left-footed player would have likely let the ball roll just a little bit further outside the pitch towards his left foot. Now, you may not think this is anything particularly extreme or important, but it does affect it. This is a small detail which does have an impact on the way that Manchester United play. If Dalot takes this touch across his body out onto his left foot, like say a Luke Shaw would for example, then this pass opens up to Bruno Fernandes up the line. Once we've gone up to Bruno Fernandes, perhaps we could go back into midfield to Ugarte. From Ugarte, we might then move forward to the other side of the pitch, and it would allow United to progress the ball really effectively. And we know this is what Ruben Amorim wants. We've seen this several times already, these sorts of patterns. But because Dalot is naturally right-footed, he plays backwards. Now, I think he's affected by the fact that in that moment he kind of considered actually dribbling and carrying the ball. I think that also affected what he done. But I think the fact that he's right-footed, it just meant that kind of naturally he was always going to drift backwards a little bit. The other problem we've currently got with Diogo Dalot playing on the left-hand side of the fence is that when he gets forward into the final third to attack some space, again, he's right-footed playing on the left, so it's not really natural for him to deliver into the box. Something that United are really looking to do... Oh, Rashford there, it's a bit awkward. Something we're really looking to do is get the ball to the wing back and within a couple of touches, deliver. We are looking to deliver fairly early into the box at the moment. When you've got a right footer on the left, it doesn't really suit that. And in terms of Dalot's recent games, the last 3 matches he's played at left wing back, he's actually got 0 out of 13 completed crosses. Now, it's important to remember that the completed cross stat is a little bit harsh because they literally only say it's completed if you find a teammate, which isn't always Dalot's fault. He might put the ball into a good area. But just generally speaking, it's a slight issue in build-up and it's definitely an issue in the final third. So, Manchester United need some left wing-backs, and there's actually some really nice options already in the Premier League. So the first option that we are going to look at is Nori, who currently plays for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and this is very much a left-sided defender. At times he plays in a wing-back system, playing as one of the wing-backs. At times he's back 4 as a full-back, and at times he has also played centre-back in a back 3 as well. A fairly versatile player, but certainly a specialist down the left side of the pitch. And actually, I've done a piece of him on our Discord server, so if you want to join a Discord, the link will be in the description down below. I recommend you check it out. But anyway, what we're getting with Nori is brilliant ball-carrying dribbling ability. This is almost, in a sense, like the Neymar of fullbacks. He doesn't really look like a fullback, he looks more like a winger in the way that he dribbles. He is always looking to square players up and take people on in these 50-50 situations. And the reason he's so effective here is because he's got brilliant agility, excellent close ball control, but also the ability to go both ways. So when you're in this situation as a defender, you don't really know where to commit yourself to because Nori is more than capable of knocking the ball down the line and accelerating past you and beating you in that way. But also he has the technical quality to use the outside of his boot to push the ball inside the pitch at times and come into these areas. This is why it's so difficult for the other team to try and deal with, because in these moments he can go both ways, and this is exactly what Manchester United need. Players that are comfortable on the ball in this first phase. Under pressure, he is absolutely brilliant. He is so calm on the ball, and he just trusts his elite technical quality. The other thing he's got here is really good passing. Now, I'm not talking about an excellent passing range in terms of switching the play and things like that. I wouldn't say he's got that to his game at the moment. But what we are talking about is sort of first time passing under pressure. In these moments when you are under pressure, for example, man-to-man from the opposition, and you've got to sort of quickly pop the ball about in these areas, pop the ball around the corner. Nori is really, really good at doing that. And what I love is that once he's done that, he then wants to get forward into the final third. He wants to bomb forward into these positions. So he's not just happy admiring his work, he actually wants to attack the space. And in terms of in these areas, you've got yourself a bit of tactical flexibility because again, he can go both ways. He could underlap, allowing the inside forward to go out wide, or he can go on the overlap, attacking these areas. I think the only area he really lacks on the ball for this wing-back position is that final delivery. I don't think he's perfect in this area. He has shown moments, he has shown glimpses where he picks players out incredibly well, but in other moments it's a little bit inconsistent. But regardless, I think Nori is a really nice player. I think he's a great option for United, and we will be looking at him more in the future. Next up on the list for today is Anthony Robinson, another Premier League defender who is having a really good season, and to be honest, he's had a couple of good seasons now. Apologies that you can hear my voice going. I'm not very well at the moment. Anthony Robinson, he currently plays for Fulham as a left-back. This is a marauding left-back though, very much suited to playing in the wing-back system, purely because of his athleticism. This is an athletic freak. His recovery pace, his intensity, his engine, but his ability to do it for 90 minutes is absolutely ridiculous. There'll be a moment where he sprints forward, he goes flying forward down the left-hand side with the ball, and perhaps a teammate loses the ball in this area. Next thing you know, he's back here. He is back here so quick, he is so athletic, and he just doesn't stop going all game long. And we know that is perfectly suited to the wing-back system. It's a difficult role to play, getting up and down the pitch, but Robinson has all of the physical traits that are needed for it. Importantly, he's also good technically as well, particularly with his ball carrying, where he really uses his athletic throwing to his advantage, pushing the ball past people and just driving into spaces. He is very difficult to stop once he gets going down this left-hand side. Now, importantly, he can also add kind of the passing elements to his game as well. He can move the ball inside the pitch, and he also quite likes a pass over the top in behind the defence, which again, with someone like Rasmus Højlund up front, could be something that Manchester United could use pretty effectively. But I think realistically, the big positive of signing Robinson, if it was to happen, is that you get incredible athleticism and physicality, which is amazing on and off the ball. It's a huge asset. But particularly when he gets himself into the final third, his delivery into the box is absolutely brilliant. And what I love about him when he gets into these positions is he doesn't just cross it in for the sake of it. He very much picks a player out. This is a pick-out pass into the middle. He's not just swinging it into an area. He has a look. He knows where his striker is or his late arriving player in the box. He knows where they are and he picks them out. So Robinson, again, we will look at him more in the future, but he is a great option for this. The last player that I want to look at for today, and again, don't worry, we will look at all of these in more depth in the future. Let me know which ones you want to see in the comments down below. But the last player for today is another Premier League fullback, and it is Kiirs. This one much younger than the other two, only 21 years old, but I think he is everything that Ruben Amorim wants from one of his players. He is tenacious, he is gritty, he is an absolute fighter. He's not the biggest player in the world, he's not the most physical, but he makes up for it with his intensity, the way that he bites into challenges, flies all over the pitch, really gets himself properly stuck in, if you know what I mean. That sort of footballer who is going to get himself involved in those 50-50 tackles. I think United need more of those players. Kiirs is exactly that. Now don't worry, whilst Kiirs is all of those things, that is not all his game is limited to. Technically, he's a very good player on the ball. You have to be playing in the current Bournemouth side, and Kiirs is. He does tick the boxes of being kind of a modern technical fullback. Not of the elite level, but he's got a lot of quality on the ball. Particularly in the first phase, I think he's a great passer out of pressure. In these situations where you're being pressed, finding that pass is important. You don't always have to try and beat your man, particularly in Ruben Amorim's setup, where a lot of the play is going to be pattern-based, particularly in the long term. Having players that can just take a good first touch, a solid first touch, and then move the ball with a well-weighted pass, with a bit of empathy on the pass as well. You know, does the teammate want to receive the ball on the right or left? These are things that Kiirs seems to consider when playing the ball out from the back, and I think that's important in terms of making it a smooth process as you move through the first phase. Importantly though, like the other two, Kiirs also offers something as he moves a little bit further forward. I think particularly his movement is something which suits, again, that of a wing-back. For Bournemouth, what he will regularly do is let the winger pick up the ball, and then as the winger moves inside, he's going to fly around on the overlap. Well, again, that's exactly what a wing-back wants to do. It's what we need at Manchester United. Players that want to go round the outside, down the left-hand side, and are almost natural and comfortable doing it. I think Kiirs does tick those boxes. What he really uses in these areas is, again, a drive. He's not the most technical dribbler in the world. You know, he's not an Nori in the way that he plays. But again, it's that drive, it's those quick steps, it's the upper body strength to hold players off, really makes him quite good in these areas as he looks to move the ball forward. I just have the question mark really over the final third. Is he quite good enough for what Manchester United need? Now, this season he has started to kind of increase his play in the final third. His output has been better, picking up more assists, more goal contributions, more passes into the final third, things like that. But I do still have a slight question mark, simply because I think this is such an important part of the job of a wing-back. However, he is very, very young still. He will grow in these areas, I'm sure of it. But I think all round, kind of fundamentally, he is an excellent young fullback, and I think he would be a massive upgrade for Manchester United on the left side of defence. So there we have it. Those are 3 options for the left wing-back position that Manchester United could sign. Will they be available in January? I'm not sure. It might take a little bit of cash to bring them into the club. Although maybe we're about to get some cash. Don't know. Regardless, I think these 3 are really good options for the left-hand side. And like I said, if you guys want a more in-depth kind of breakdown of their games, let me know in the comments down below which player you want to see the video on first. I'm happy to cover all of them. There are also other left wing-backs that I want to look at playing in different leagues. So all of that is coming to the channel over the next few weeks, particularly in January, as we finally arrive at another transfer window. But in terms of today's video, we are finished there. So let me know which player you guys like the look of the most. But apart from that, we're finished. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.